Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Battlefield has recently put out a string of sort of emergency response updates to a handful of things going on in Season 1 that were not functioning as intended. There were some core issues with gameplay on certain platforms. There have been various different bugs or glitches, so they've actually responded to a couple of major problems going on here in Season 1 with some new updates that have sort of like the urgent response to them, potentially temporarily disabling things while they work on fixes and just giving us some more communication as to what's going on in game. So we've actually got quite a bit to break down here today, primarily stemming from the Battlefield Communications Twitter account. So first up here, they did post about an issue where Battlefield coins were not functioning on Steam as intended. They said that they are aware of players reporting that they're not receiving their Battlefield coins from their advanced or starter pack purchases on Steam. The team is investigating this issue and they'll provide some updates as soon as possible. In the meantime, players have reported that restarting their Steam client could sometimes resolve this issue. So obviously by now, if you've purchased those and you're not seeing the coins reflected on your account, they are looking into it. They should have a full update out at some point here soon, potentially. You know, if the COD timing in Battlefield hits me and they put out an update right before I publish this video, I'll try and get a post at Zach in here or update the pinned comment down below if there's anything to report on there to get you guys up to date with the latest info. But it is something that they are actively aware of. And of course, if you're purchasing the advanced or the starter pack stuff at any point and you're not seeing those Battlefield coins appear, give your whole Steam a restart and then hopefully it will function as intended. But this is something that is on their radar and they're tracking here. Now, this is a very important one because there's been a lot of backlash, a lot of conversation this week about challenges in Battlefield, primarily from players not interested in REDSEC, either for Battle Royale or for Gauntlet, because they've now directed a lot of challenges, daily and weekly challenges, around Battle Royale. Play X amount of games in Battle Royale or complete X amount of contracts in Gauntlet. And you have a lot of premium players, multiplayer players saying, yeah, I don't want to play Battle Royale to do these weekly challenges. I'm not going to do that. I want this cosmetic, but I'm not going to, end up doing anything in Battle Royale because that's not the mode for me. And so Battlefield Comms did post about a new feature spotlight that they've introduced: weekly and daily challenge re-rolling. If a challenge does not suit your playstyle, like it's meant for a mode you're not a fan of, or it's doing something that you just don't really integrate into your gameplay, head to the challenges tab, select that challenge, and you'll see an option to re-roll. As challenges vary from person to person, re-rolls do not guarantee you're going to receive a challenge you like, which is why you'll have multiple re-rolls available per day for both daily challenges and per week for weekly challenges. So every day you can re-roll those dailies if you want, then every week you'll have a sorted amount of re-rolls for the weekly challenges. You'll be able to gain the following depending on the version of the game that you own. So there is some sort of like pay to win elements here, although you're not necessarily winning, it's just giving you more options. For daily challenges, everyone receives one daily reroll. Battlefield 6 owners, so if you have multiplayer, receive an additional reroll, and if you have Battlefield Pro for this season, you receive another additional reroll, so you can have up to 3 in that case. This allows up to 3 per day, and the dailies reset at 4 o'clock UTC. For the weekly challenges, all players by default get 3 weekly rerolls. If you own Battlefield 6 Premium, you get an additional one, so that's a 4th, and if you're a Pro owner, you also get a 5th reroll, and these reset at 12 o'clock UTC on every Tuesday. We hope this feature helps you find the challenges to match your playstyle. So you can see here, if you were to go into your challenge menu, you've got your TDM multi-kills. If you don't want to do that, you can re-roll in the bottom there with whatever button prompt you've got going on in your input there. So that should help some with some of the more tedious or obnoxious challenges that you're not a fan of doing, whether it's because it's a specific mode or something weird going on in gameplay that you're not a fan of, doing and integrating into your play style there. I have to imagine they're going to continue to adjust things going forward, especially because of how loud the backlash has been from a lot of the premium players saying, yeah, not a fan of being forced to play Battle Royale to do this or that, or to unlock this or that. So certainly something to keep an eye on. And of course, if there's any updates there, or if there's any updates in general, really, when it comes to Battlefield, if they're detailing things they're fixing, things they have fixed, or previewing anything else, this is the place to be to stay up to date with everything going on. So feel free to hit that subscribe button, turn on those post notifications. Currently around 56% of viewers watching are not subscribed. So if that's you, I'd love to have you change that, as we are getting closer and closer to hitting 1 million subs. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, you find the info helpful, a like rating is always seriously appreciated as well. And what do you know, post edit Zach here. I told you guys if there was any updates to keep you guys informed with, I'd have them in the video. And last minute here, just before I was about to upload this video, Battlefield Comms ended up posting this saying, reroll challenges system adjustment. we made the following adjustments to the reroll challenge system. Now, when rerolling a challenge, this change will prevent Battlefield 6 players from receiving a challenge that can only be completed in REDSEC, and REDSEC players will continue to receive additional challenges that can be completed in REDSEC when rerolling a challenge. Which challenge you gain after rerolling is still going to be random. Thanks for your feedback. So fantastic news there. If you're a premium player, you don't have to get a REDSEC challenge. If you're a REDSEC player and you just want a different challenge, you'll just get a different REDSEC challenge there. Now, this is another pretty important bit of information, something they've actually removed from the game in an urgent response to some issues going on. Battlefield Comms says we are temporarily disabling the Assault Deploy Beacon gadget in TDM, Squad Deathmatch, Domination, and King of the Hill due to an issue with the behavior of the item in these modes. The item will still be selectable as a gadget, but players are not going to be able to spawn on it. So there's some bugs going on with that in general. They will have an update to fix that out at some point in the future, but currently you're not going to be able to actually utilize the deploy beacon there. Now, as far as updates that have been posted in the past few days, it's not all just bugs and glitches and things of that nature. Battlefield has also revealed that there's currently some brand new drops going on for Battlefield REDSEC that you can end up unlocking just by watching select Twitch streamers. So they do go through and say starting tomorrow, which is now live, of course, through November 4th, you can watch streamers and get the exclusive Twitch drops. This is going to grant you access to a new vehicle decal, a new weapon package on the pistol, then also another vehicle skin and another soldier skin as well. So if you're interested in any of the rewards here, you can get those drops via Twitch, but wanted to make sure that was out there so you guys could access these during the limited time that they are available. Another pretty important update, and this will obviously have a lot of responses, I imagine, from the community because this existing got a lot of responses from the community, but the Wicked Grin skin, this very bright blue skin that's had everyone up in arms over the past few days as it was leaked and discovered prior to season 1. A lot of people saying this doesn't really fit in the general Battlefield era that we're in right now. It's not really super realistic or sim like here. It's a little bit more extravagant than some of the other skins in the game, people not really being a fan of it. This got a lot of criticism, and according to a lot of different reports, the Wicked Grin skin was silently removed from the game. And Battlefield and EA didn't say anything. They just straight up removed it. You could see it on like the preview menu. I was just looking at it in game the other day and I was like, oh yeah, that skin, it's got everyone upset. And now it's not there anymore. So perhaps they're going to adjust this in some way, shape, or form, adjust the look of it a little bit, or maybe it's just not going to be in the game because they saw that players were not a huge fan of its overall cosmetic theme. And then I wanted to close on a few bits of news that have surfaced via some specific dev interactions on Twitter here. This one pretty important for the general gameplay experience in REDSEC. Battlefield Bulletin ends up reporting on this, and it's actually a quote tweet from David Serland, one of the directors on the game, saying, REDSEC servers run at a base of 30 hertz, except towards the final fight at the end of the game, they actually changed their dynamic server tick rates. They go up to 60 hertz towards the end of the game as players are being removed and eliminated. Serland says 30 hertz is more stable because the 100 player lobbies, I'd argue, our 30 hertz beats most of the competition baselines too. Call of Duty with its 20 hertz servers that are super behind still. Call of Duty's run at typically 20 hertz as mentioned there. So kind of funny that they're throwing a little bit of shade there, but also interesting that the servers actually perform better as the match goes on and as you get into that end game. So wanted to get this little PSA out there for those interested. And then lastly here, a couple of the devs were asked why the brand new vehicle, the Traverser Mark II, is only available on our new season 1 map here. It's not available on any of the base maps that were already in the game prior to the season. And David Serland does respond and say new vehicles will be used to look over map specifics for multiplayer maps over time for sure, and Portal can test things before they become reality. So basically just saying that initially they're going to spawn in one map and they'll do some testing with it, make sure the balancing is good, but then it does seem like they're going to be coming to all maps over time. So something to look out for there. If you're a fan of the vehicle on the Blackwell Fields map, it will ultimately likely be available across the board as well. It's a pretty cool vehicle, I won't lie. But that being said, those are a handful of new updates, sort of emergency responses to a couple of things and some more insight into some other things going on in Battlefield here post season 1. If you guys enjoyed the video, a like rating is always seriously appreciated. And of course, if you're new to the channel, you want to ensure you are always up to date with everything going on, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on those post notifications. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.